Hey, Bart Miller here with Cycling Strong. So I know a lot of you have been waiting for this report and I've been trying to get it shot. I am so sorry I haven't got this done earlier, but I've had a lot of stuff on my mind since this, and I wanted to make sure that I covered everything in this report. So we left here in town, so trying to get everything packed and remembering everything was like my worst nightmare. So we got on the road and I started thinking of all these things, like at the aid station I wouldn't have a tire, and oh my gosh, then I wouldn't have a canister to blow the tire up, and I wouldn't have Hutchinson's, and all these things. So then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my heck, I've got to stop at these bike shops and buy all these odds and end things so that I can have them at the aid stations in case my tire, pops and I have something to fix it with. And so we got to the first night we stayed in a little town called Grand Junction. It's not really a little town, but it's a pretty good sized town. We got there, we ate some food in Fruta at a little tomato something place, which was amazing. I had to take the whole family there because I loved it the first time I was in there. We stopped there, we had some food there. I got Sunny the coolest socks ever. Girls, you gotta check out their socks, they're pretty sweet. And so I got her some sweet socks, and then, or as Mark would say, some socks. I got some really good stylish socks. And Bishop, that was for you. I cannot mimic you as well, but that was good. Anyway, and then we went from there to Leadville the next morning, and Perry informed me I was supposed to be there the day before. I totally didn't know I was. So I felt bad. Sorry, Perry. Ed, that's where we stayed at the Mountain Highway in Leadville. We got there, got everything set up after I looked everywhere for all this bike stuff, and we had a CEO dinner that night, because I was part of the CEO Challenge, as all of you know. And we got there, and the most awesome surprise ever was there. Rebecca Rush and Dave Weens, my two favorite mountain bikers, besides Kobe, were there, and we were able to sit down, chat, and kind of just catch up and have some fun and eat some amazing food. The food was absolutely amazing. And we had that at Copper Mountain. Then we went from Copper Mountain back over, and I wanted to get to bed at an okay time. That was Thursday night, so I had some time to get some rest for Friday. Friday I got up and I had a ride at 2 o'clock with Dave Weens, but the first thing in the morning we got up and we went over to Specialized to meet Rebecca for a second, talk about some things, some strategy stuff, and for me, that is, not for her obviously. And then we went from there to, golly, I can't remember our next stop. I think we went over to eat some lunch. That's where we went over to the CEO deal, eat some lunch, and then we had a get together at like 5 o'clock. But I missed the get together because I really wanted to eat curry. I love curry before a big ride. I don't know why, but it just fills me up, feels good. I love that food. So we ate some curry, and then we went, basically from there we had to run one errand, and then I went on a ride with Dave Weens at 2 o'clock. We just did an easy spin back and forth on the bike. And my bike was kind of shifting a little bit crazy, but not bad, nothing to worry about. And then the next morning, well, we went to bed that night pretty early. I think I went to bed at 9 actually. And I slept pretty good, got up the next morning, took all my vitamins, got everything ready, and went to the race line. I think at 6 o'clock I got there, and it was pretty backed up at my gate, which was amazing to see all the people. There was so many people there. It was unbelievable. And we got gated, and the race was on. And oh my gosh, there was people everywhere, on every side of you. Everybody was going crazy. And then all of a sudden I saw the famous Ricky, and I was like, whoa, I'm riding right along with Ricky. This is so sweet. And he had a big pack on. If you haven't seen his story, what he did this year at Leadville, you ought to check it out. And I was like, holy cow, he's got quite a pack on, and quite a bit of stuff. But I understand more now that I've heard his whole story. He is his 20th year riding Leadville, but it was stellar. So then kind of rode by him for a second, took off, got going, got with a really good group. We climbed really well. We got through Pipeline, and we were going to Pipeline, and we came down Powerline, and as I was climbing before Powerline, I should say, my bike was shifting erratically pretty bad, We got down power line, and we were cruising pretty good. Got on the road. We were descended really fast. Got to the bottom of the descent, and I look down. I hear this noise in my spokes, and it's my chain had broke right in half. And I am the worst bike mechanic on the planet, so it was like my worst nightmare. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So I stopped alongside the road there and looked at it for a second, held my bike, grabbed a chain tool, luckily I had, and there was a guy there that, I don't know if he was a bike mechanic or what he was, but he jumped in there, helped me out. It was the most dramatic thing ever, trying to figure out what pin needed to come out, if we could get the XX1 back together, trying to hold the chain, get the timing of that all right, get the pin back in, make sure the pin was seated right so that I could get back on the road. All these groups had gone by. Anyway, finally got it done, back together, got back on the bike, and started off to go see my son Kobe at the first station at Pipeline. I got there and said, look, I broke a chain, I need you to call your mom, and lucky enough I had another chain in the car, and so he phoned his mom, and she was at the Twin Lakes station, and got her to get the chain out so that when I got there we could actually replace the chain. All this time is adding up, and I put a total of 45 minutes into getting my chain replaced. So I started climbing through Columbine. Well, another funny story is, before that, you'll see all the mud on my bike in the pictures because we were riding all in this group, and then all of a sudden there was like this huge lake, and I was the one right in the middle. I went right in the middle of this lake. It was the worst thing ever. I hate my feet being wet, and instantly my bike was just caked with mud, trying to do a forward digging thing through there and not fall over in the stupid water puddle because it was so thick of mud. Anyway, so got through all that. Sorry about the side story, but I thought you'd like that. So then we're climbing Columbine. I'm absolutely crushing Columbine. Loved it. It was feeling great. Get almost to the very top, and one of the guys stops his bike, and because he cramped his leg up, hit right into his back tire. The pros are coming down this way. We're going up this way, and I did one of these. Fall right over. And a pro hit my head as he was going by at the same time, and it totally dazed me. It was the worst. It's terrible. But anyway, broke my water bottle off, got it picked up, got everything taken care of, got back up, started going, turned around, got back to the bottom. As I was coming down, I have an NV seat, an NV seat post, and the NV rocker end of it obviously wasn't tight enough, so my seat ends up coming up like this on me. So it was the most uncomfortable thing ever, and got to the bottom, told the mechanic it needed to be fixed. He fixed the seat post, but he didn't fix the seat levelness. So I get back on the bike, had to ride another 25 miles to see Kobe again, a Pipeline. Finally got that mechanic to fix that, and back on the road. At that point I was 5 minutes off of my time of 9:05. Didn't know if we could make it back up. Started taking off with all the different things. I tried to make that time up. As soon as I heard the shotgun just outside of Leadville, I was like, oh, forget this. And that was at 9:03. Kind of just sat up, pedaled in, and got a time of 9:09. So I missed the big belt buckle, but had a lot of amazing experiences along the way. Met a lot of really cool people, and most of all, I think the thing I was frustrated was to let all you guys down that I didn't make it. At the time I said I would, but with the mechanical errors and me not being a mechanic, I just learned that I've got to be better prepared on the bike for those type of situations if I also want to make my times. So anyway, that's that. I'll do some other videos around Leadville, some things that I learned, but that's the main story. I don't think I've missed much. We got back and just enjoyed the evening, got in my recovery stuff, got my legs recovered up, and went from there. So hope you like this post. If you have any questions, thoughts, love your feedback. Some of you have given me some great encouragement. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, and we'll talk soon.